You there, your phone over there.
Hey everybody, we're about to go live on 90.1 FM. We appreciate everybody for tuning in. We got our co-host here, Mr. Mac Epps, in the studio. Handyman about to bring us aboard. We got a jam-packed show prepared for y'all today. A lot of good updates, a lot of good information. So sit back, relax, and enjoy. All of our first-time viewers, go ahead and hit the heart, the like button, and all of the returning viewers, go ahead and hit the heart button. If you want to see your comments posted on the screen today, you're going to have to click on that link. It's on Facebook, so your profile picture can show StreamYard / Facebook. Make sure you post it up there. Yeah, there it is. Yep. So if you want to see on Facebook, if you want to see your profile pic, go ahead and click on that link there. We got a great show prepared for y'all today, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Reviving Mississippi Show. I'm your host, Keitha Stamps. We got our co-host here, Mr. Mac Epps. What's going on, Mac?
Man, it's a whole lot happening. But we got to keep the work going.
We got it going on, man. I'm telling you, it's a lot going on in the world, a lot going on in the nation, a lot going on in the state, and a heck of a lot more going on in the county and in the city. So we got a lot going on, ladies and gentlemen. As we open every show, we always open our show up remembering those who are going through bereavement. Bereavement is different now because of all of the distancing requirements and all those things. Let's just make sure that we're taking care of each other, that we are, normally our coping mechanism is each other. Most of the time, we're going through traumatic situations. We deal with it by our togetherness. So let's make sure that we still be together. That sense of village, that sense of camaraderie, that sense of fellowship that has gotten us through will get us through this. So be a friend so you can have a friend in your time of need. Because even right now when folks are having to go to the hospital, normally you have all the family members come to the hospital.
All right.
Well, that's not the situation right now.
No.
So the family members are cut off and disconnected and having to mourn and endure tragedy, isolated,
right,
which is causing a degree of what I figure mental strain on people, emotional stress. Right. So let's make sure that we keep each other in our prayers and wrap our arms around each other as we go through these trying times. We also want to start off the show by acknowledging our brothers out the VFW. I ain't been out there in a while, but Mac, we want to make sure we get back out to the VFW, visit all our brothers out there. They're going through some issues too, because we normally be together a lot more. And those who are more engaged in that, definitely wrap your arms around those brothers, because every week we get a text message every week from different situations that comrades are going through. This week, Comrade Tara Rivers, she's recovering nicely from undergoing surgery to correct a medical issue at the Baptist Hospital. So if you round around the Baptist Hospital, go ahead and shoot a prayer up for our sister Tara Rivers as she recover and after her surgery. Matt, you want to start off with our announcements?
Oh, yes, sir. Got a couple condolences to lay out. My friend, brother Aaron Johnson, also lost his brother. Brother Johnson has been actively engaged. You might know him. His dearly departed wife was Sister Frigid. So we ask that you continue to support him and give prayers for him. He's a very hard worker, always out there. First person sometime on the scene when we get ready to do the sleep out for the homeless. So the brothers 587, we actually make sure you reach out to Brother Aaron Johnson. Also, Tulu alumni, Brother Eric Burton, lost his mother. The homegoing services will be this weekend. Had a strong fight with cancer, and we definitely want to continue to support him and lift him up. So asking all the Tulu family and all his fraternity brothers of 8x8 to reach out to Brother Eric Burton. Voter registration.
That's right.
All the stuff that we have going on. And I'm going to say this. Major issues that we see happening in our city, country. 9 times out of 10, it comes back to the desk of a public official. Elections have consequences. Register to vote, be voter educated, know what you're voting for and who you're voting for, and make sure whatever the process be for November, that we exercise that to the fullest capacity to make sure that people go out and be able to cast their ballots or be able to sit at home and cast their ballots, however they figure it out, hopefully for soon. But we know as soon as we find out for Hinds County and our area and for Mississippi, uh, Revive Mississippi and Mississippi Move will definitely be getting the information out so that we can make sure that we show up and show out. You can go to register to vote at MississippiMove.org and you go to msmove.org. If you more tech savvy, you can go online, you can download the form, and there's information there on how you can vote. Register to vote right there. I have a 20 for 20 challenge asking everybody to hear my voice to register 20 graduates for a class of 2020. They have definitely been affected by major pandemics, more than one, and they definitely need to be exercising their right to vote in November. So we make sure that we're asking people, those who see a problem with the issues in our society, register somebody to vote, make sure they're educated, and make sure they go cast their ballot in November. The census, let's not waste time. Let's make sure we're counting. Economic resources are connected to the numbers. Make sure that people are counted, make sure that your information is in. If you know people that have not filled out their census, make sure they do so and make sure you call them. Go to the website, go to 2020census.gov. Make sure you exercise that right. COVID-19, we continue to show information on Facebook and share information. Councilman Stamps is going to give some more information where you can get gloves and some of the stuff that's going to be going on this weekend, especially to help out our seniors. But Mississippi Move is also going to be involved. So if you need some resources or some help or assistance, you can reach out to us at msmove.org also. As always, the show has been brought to you by Stamps Lawn Care and the world famous Noni Juice.
Hey, make sure you go to mynonijuice.com to take care of all of those medicinal needs, known as the first and original super fruits, and definitely sweeping the world, especially right now when it comes to boosting your immune system. People all over
Yes, sir.
Are purchasing it. And we've also been brought to you by Michael Jordan Transportation Services. Michael Jordan Transportation Services has been around for some time now,
right.
Doing great work and helping people out, especially during this coronavirus time. They've been doing transportation service and they are hiring. You can go to mjstransportation1.com to take a look at those things and see how to sign up. They're looking for people to be full-time and part-time inside this time period that we're going through and beyond. So it's a great way to supplement your income by helping developmentally challenged and senior citizens with transportation services. So go to mjstransportation1.com to you have to do it online and take care of that. At this moment right now, we need every available economic opportunity, every available job. Let's make sure we're taking care of ourselves and govern ourselves accordingly when it comes to doing those things. So Mac, you also have comments about it was another announcement from about the protest this weekend.
Yeah, there are a couple of protests going on. Okay. I think one is happening Friday at 12, and there's another protest happening Saturday at 3 o'clock. And so downtown Jackson, I think 3 o'clock Saturday is the governor's mansion, if I'm not mistaken. People being actively engaged. And I tell everybody that we have to be involved. Doing nothing is never an answer. And we always talk about two options you have in our society. You either part of the problem or part of the solution, right? It's a lot of quotes, a lot of metaphors that can be said, but the thing about it is actually living them. And one of them is always said, "Well done is better than well said." So make sure that we are practicing some activities to make sure that we keep our families safe, our friends safe, be educated and civically engaged in our process to help close some of the gaps on our social disparity, especially for the African American community and any community that's suffering oppression. That we make sure that we get out and be actively engaged in doing something about the situation, whether it be organizing the cleanup in your neighborhood, creating, feeding some of the folks in the neighborhood. I try to leave different things for my folks that are for sanitation. You'd be amazed. I also started another thing on Wednesdays, right? I post on Facebook. It's called ARC Wednesday. I call it ARC Wednesday, Act of Random Kindness. So find someone to just do something nice for on Wednesday. Whether you pay for the person behind you in the fast food line or when you get your coffee, but just to say, hey, I appreciate you for some stuff that you do that people might not even think about. So those are some things that we're asking folks to do. And if we know that they are giving out masks, the city, I know you're gonna cover that in the city update. But so those who you know that need masks, and a lot of times the people that need the resources are those who do not have transportation. So if you have transportation, we asking you to take somebody, especially somebody that falls into the category as a sensitive, member of society, either have a compromised immune system or a senior citizen. Get the resources, find out what you need to do, baby, get the stuff to them, but do everything we can to make sure that we keep them safe. Whether it means us avoiding being able to go face to face and touch them or being in their presence, because you could be asymptomatic, meaning that you're carrying the virus and you don't even know that you have COVID-19. So we definitely want to make sure we just continue to stay safe. But we definitely know the rally is going to be Friday at 12, Saturday at 3.
And for those face mask distribution locations and times, first we want to appreciate the partnership between the state, the county, and the city to even do this. And it's good to be able to work together for the safety and to get people things they need. And these masks are definitely hot on the hot topic around town. People looking for them. A lot of senior citizens can't get out and find them. So face mask distribution locations and times at Sykes Community Center, Wednesday, June 30th, whatever today, at 4 p.m. Thursday, tomorrow at Westside Community Center, Thursday, June 4th, 2020 at 10 a.m. while supplies last at 1440 Wiggins Road, Jackson, Mississippi, 39209. The Old Fred's parking lot, Thursday, June the 4th, 2020 at 4 p.m. while supplies last at 6200 Old Kent Road, Jackson, Mississippi, 39211. At Champions Gym, Friday, June 5th, 2020 at 10 a.m. while supplies last at 1355 Hattiesburg Street, Jackson, Mississippi, 39204. At the Virgie P. Middleton Community Center, Friday, June 5th, 2020 at 4 p.m. at 3971 Flag Chapel Road, Jackson, Mississippi, 39213. At the Pete Brown Golf Course, Saturday, June 6th, 2020 at 10 a.m. at 3200 Woodrow Wilson Drive, Jackson, Mississippi, 39213. In the Metro Center parking lot, Saturday, June 6th, 2020 at 2 p.m. at 1000 Metro Center Drive, Jackson, Mississippi, 39209. For more information, contact Constituent Services at 601-960-1084. That's 601-960-1084.
And I will go back later on tonight, and I'll post it in the comments where you can see the those sites, and also I'll post it from the Revive Mississippi page on Facebook for those who need the information.
Okay, and we also want to give out a little information about citizens must wear facial coverings while in public and maintain social distancing at least 6 feet to prevent the spread of coronavirus. Call the City of Jackson COVID-19 hotline at 601-586-3067 to fill out our symptom collector. This is a tool that if you have symptoms, let's fill that out so we can map it out and see where our concentration areas so we can deploy testing to those areas. So if you're experiencing any symptoms of coronavirus, you can go right on the city's website. As soon as you pop it up, www.jacksonms.gov. As soon as it pops up on as soon as the screen pops up, there's a button there that says Symptoms Collector. And then that helps us map out throughout the city. And data is very important, especially to justify, going to an area, testing everyone in that area so we can neutralize this. There's two ways to get around this. You can lock everybody down and then hopefully work through it as people, get medical treatment. Or since everything's opened up, we're going to have to be able to deploy resources to those infected areas as fast as possible before those areas become an outbreak. We've been all out in neighborhoods doing testing over the last few weeks, and I appreciate the mayor and all the staff for facilitating those activities, because some of these areas we've been going to probably wouldn't be getting tested. They probably won't go to the fairground. Mm-hmm. One of the reasons that our numbers are high, and there's several reasons why our numbers are high, right, but one of them is access to healthcare, access to testing, and an access issue. So we have to bring resources to those affected areas. So if you're experiencing any symptoms, or if you tested positive for coronavirus, log it into the system so that we can map it. It doesn't track your personal name. It just tracks information so that we can identify hotspots and take care of those things, before it gets widespread. We also have contracted with a local hotel that can offer a quarantine facility. So we map the symptoms, deploy the appropriate testing, quarantine people who need to be quarantined to keep it from being an outbreak. And these are things that the city is doing in partnership with several other agencies like Jackson Hines Comprehensive Health and several other things out there, so that we can get a handle on these things. And I applaud folks in the city for what they're doing now, because we're one of the only cities that has this level of acute attention that's ready to be deployed. So utilize these things so we can make sure we can keep people safe and try our best to contain this. Other than that, make sure you're cleansing yourself, washing hands. Let's get this call. Hello, caller. Welcome to the show. What's your question or comment?
Hey, I got a question about the coronavirus. If you have been diagnosed with it and you quarantine for your 14 days, the people that administer the test where you get the positive results, will they tell you to come back and be tested again to assure you that you no longer have it?
Well, what happens? You'll be released to your medical provider at that point. So they do the testing, and then a few days later they call you and they go through the process that the protocol sits in place to identify, are you living alone, are you with other people, and they give you instructions to quarantine and route you to medical care. But beyond that, your doctor will in turn test you to see once you're over it again, or you can call back and get tested. So if you have gone through that 14 days, go back to the city website, request to be tested, and you can be tested again to make sure that the virus has left your system.
Okay, great answer. Thank you.
Now, that's to be a good thing if the city does it. I have had several people I know
and the state facility does it too.
They tested positive, and a friend of mine who was hospitalized, and when he was discharged home, he still had symptoms. You could say he still went home hot. So he still had symptoms. He took care of himself at home. The doctor called him and did a telehealth visit, told him that when his symptoms started to leave, that he was free to go back and move around. So they never did retest him, and he did test positive. He asked about that. He said, no, the doctor told him that he did not need to be retested, that when his symptoms started to leave, that he should be fine. And that were his key words, you should be fine.
Yeah, but I get tested again just to make sure.
Yeah.
Hello, caller. Welcome to the show. What's your question or comment?
Peace unto y'all.
Hey, brother.
Please, brother.
I've been around a long time, and I speak for Black people. But I'm watching this election, and I'm watching these officials, and we'll keep telling our people to let's vote. It's time for us to have an agenda. Every leader in the state, federal, or local level need to be on board with having an agenda for Black people. It was yesterday that reported that this COVID-19 was a hybrid virus. Any educated Black man know when they say hybrid, that means it was man-made. I'm all for a full investigation because we having all these riots and we ain't had not one COVID outbreak and it's supposed to be among people. Black people need to wake up because somebody has an agenda for us, and it ain't just no Donald Trump. We sit here, we just got to vote. We have to have an agenda. We got Mr. Ben Johnson proposing a $14 trillion reparation bill. Where these Negroes at now? I'm sick of black folks talking. Man, we need an agenda. We should not be voting for no Democratic Party just because they Democrat and Trump is in order. That man done made more millionaires out of.
All right, brother. We don't gonna just rant, but what we're gonna do is we agree with you. We have an agenda. We've been pushing our agenda for 7 straight years, and we encourage people to educate yourselves on who you vote for. And if they don't represent your issues and your situation, and present to you something basic that you can hold on to. A lot of times, folks talk over folks' head, but we can just work through these issues. So our agenda here locally, and that's what we're about to get to, is our plan for being back to basics. This back to basics plan focuses on the basic things of government and how we're supposed to move forward. So in the future, you're going to hear me say back to basics a lot, because the basic things of government, the basic things of community is what we're acutely focused on. The neighborhood presidents, we've talked to most of them in our ward, or all of them in our ward, and addressing this. Everybody has to do their job. And so that's what we're going to be focused on. One of the big issues that we had on the agenda this past week was about cellular phone coverage. Now, about 35 years ago, the city of Jackson installed 26 cell phone towers around the city. And the city receives about $3 million a year from those towers. And it was a good investment for us then. What we proposed is not about 5G or anything like that. We propose to expand that cell tower network to underserved areas outside the city limits. Mm-hmm. See, when it comes to a city, you can fund your city through taxes and tourism and restaurants and things like that. And you can also increase your revenue by offering more services. So what we propose is to extend that network even further out in the county, especially down the Highway 18 and 49 corridors and spaces where their cell phone coverage is waning. And then it'll provide better service for people. And also we can partner with Hines County School District, City of Raymond, City of Utica, City of Port Gibson, to partner with those different agencies to offer better service. And then the constituents get better cell phone service, and we also in turn increase our revenue. And so that's one of the issues that was kind of hot button. A lot of people got a little misinformation. We're not talking about 5G service. We're not talking about some kind of radiation stuff. We're talking about regular, basic cell phone service that everybody got to have. Let's catch this caller. Hello, caller. Welcome to the show. What's your question or comment?
Hey, Mr. Stone, how you doing?
I'm well. How are you, brother?
I'm fine. Listen, I've been waiting to ask you a question. I've just been watching. Mm-hmm. And I think you're the perfect person for me to ask. And I heard you say earlier they're giving away a mass giveaway at the Metro Center. Mm-hmm. So what I want to ask, what ward is the Metro Center in?
Ward 5.
Oh, it's Ward 5. Okay. Because what's going to happen is a lot of people going to see that the Metro Center is going to be a major problem in the city of Jackson. And I just want to know what is going on with the Metro Center. What y'all going to do about that?
All right,
now, it's starting to look very, very horrible over there as far as on the Metro Center parking lot. And that's a shame. And I just want to know, what are y'all going to do about it? Because y'all need to do something about it before it get all the way out of hand. And you don't want that in the city of Jackson.
Well, I appreciate it, brother. First off, I'm just going to say this. I know Matt gets frustrated a lot of times, and we appreciate folks calling in and passionate about different issues. We're going to make sure we stay on topic.
I just want 3 minutes when you finish. Go ahead.
We're going to stay on topic. Now, the Metro Center is an issue. We've been working with the new owner on beautification and those kinds of things. That's why we champion for resources for that corridor. And we were able to secure a degree of resources to start working on it. But remember, today's show, and every show, we're going to have a topic. If you call in, we're going to talk about that topic. If you got any other issue, you can give our office a call at 601-960-2052. and we answer those issues all day long. But we got to be able to stay on topic so people can understand what we're talking about. And there are more people that are tuned in around the whole world at this point that tune into what we do. And so we'd appreciate that respect. So the topic today is back to basics. We're focusing on the basic services of the city. And we're talking about ways that we're proposing to increase our revenue so that we don't have to raise anybody's taxes. You focus on increasing revenue in other ways so that you can stabilize your tax base. And the first thing we propose is to extend our cellular phone network into underserved areas outside the city limits. This is not about 5G or any radiation kind of stuff that I had some people ask some questions about, which are valid concerns.
Yeah.
But this is about an additional way that the city can extend some services with an enterprise that we already offer. We already have a standing enterprise that governs this activity, that focuses on these things, and we're trying to extend that in other places and partner with the appropriate agencies in order to make that happen. The next way we're proposing to extend services and increase revenue for the city is the city has a top-rated fire department. And there's several spaces right outside our city limits where folks don't even have a fire hydrant and have a volunteer fire station. And we propose to extend some services in that regard too, because there are folks out there with, that live right down Raymond Road and other places. We could extend our services out a little further and then receive revenue to offer the citizens in those areas some service they don't have. They don't have a full-time fire department. They have a volunteer fire department who has been doing a yeoman's job with the resources they have. Those brothers and sisters out there in those volunteer fire stations have done a yeoman's job with the limited resources that they have. And we'll be reaching out to the county and other volunteer fire support services and partnering with the appropriate agencies to talk about how we could offer better service and extend our services out. The next thing we're proposing to do is, right now the county is in the process of building the Byram Clinton corridor and several other areas. Those areas are going to need water sewer services. And we're proposing to extend our water sewer services out even further because we're already the regional provider for water sewer. But we want to extend our water sewer services out because for every vacant house you see in Jackson, that's a customer that is gone from the system. And instead of just waiting for people to build houses in Jackson, let's extend our water sewer services out because our real issue with our water revenue is that we've lost so many customers. And let's extend our services out to areas where they need, especially sewer services. You got several people that have sprinkler systems of sewer in their front or backyards out in the county, have runoff type systems that would pay for a sewer system to be out there. Those kinds of investments that the cities make can stabilize your revenue by balancing out your customer base. And that's what we're proposing. We're proposing to extend services even further. We already provide services to Byram. We supply services to some places in Rankin County. So in order for us to maintain our water system, we're proposing that we extend services west to customers out there who desire those services. And so those are three things that we're proposing just at a basic level. These are basic services that the city already provides. And our agenda for just basic services is to sustain those services by extending and incorporating more customers. Matt, you have a question?
No. You pretty much hit it. What you're talking about in reference to what we talked on the call earlier about creating the Black agenda and creating an agenda, period. Mm-hmm. But first of all, we got to stay on whatever the topic is, and then provide input based on that topic, and then we have follow up. So what you said is exactly what we got to do when we talk about creating any type of agenda, but especially when we talk about dealing with the social disparities in our area and tackling our own issues. So I got a notebook full of great ideas, but I don't have any money. So, you're talking about providing resources so that we can be able to fund some of those things that need to be done in the city. So
Let's get this caller. Hello, caller. Welcome to the show. What's your question or comment?
Yeah, stick it on the topic. Every time I go to Walmart, I see people buying all this bottle of water in Jackson. Now, you want to propose extending, this water thing to other people, but people don't trust the water in Jackson.
Well, that's definitely a valid point, and people purchase water all the time. But the main thing about that service is that you have several people who don't have adequate sewer services in other areas, and they're not going to Walmart by no sewer. They got these sprinkler systems out in their yards, and if we extend the sewer service out in some of these underserved areas, it would definitely be beneficial, brother. We appreciate you for calling in. You make a valid point, brother. Mm-hmm. Hello, caller. Welcome to the show. What's your question or comment?
The key.
Yes, sir.
Jackson had a number one resource, and that is water. I'm a structural engineer. The water here in Jackson is good, but what Jackson need to do is pump. When you start pumping that water out of there, we need to market triple filter water and bottle it, and the city of Jackson need to sell that water because Jackson has a good water system. Don't be fooled, because if you go over to Madison and Rankin County, it smells like creek water and chlorine. I know what I'm talking about. That need to be a market strategy, because when we have a pandemic like this, what's the first thing they do? And see, people don't even know Mississippi Bottled Water is right there on West Street. They've been selling Jackson water for 50 years and making plenty of money. When black folk gonna wake up? We the dumbest people on the planet when it comes to common sense. Thank you. Back to basics.
we actually talked about this. We had several ideas several years ago. One was talking about creating a bottled water service, shipping across the state using Jackson water. We talked about finding an old industrial building and creating our own Jackson asphalt and paving company. So that way we can solve our own problem and be able to utilize the resources to help other folks.
I didn't plan to do this, Mac, but I grabbed this bottle of water here that's sitting here. It say, I don't know if I can legally say the name of the company, but it says bottle from municipal water sources.
Right. Right.
So pick a bottle of water up, ladies and gentlemen, that you go in the store
If
and
it
buy.
says purified, look on that bottle. It says it's a difference between spring and purified. If it says purified, 9 to my 10, it came from municipal services.
Yeah. So again, ladies and gentlemen, these are basic services. I agree with the brother. Let's take a look at that. We got a good brother on the line here, brother Jesse Spencer. How you doing, brother?
Councilman Sam, good evening to you.
One of our favorite sponsors. We appreciate you, brother. You before you say a word, brother. This brother is such a good brother. Good former Marine. He calls us up every now and then and say, "Hey, I listen to your show. I know Wanda want her money every time you come to the radio station. Here's a couple of dollars to go in on it, brother. We appreciate you for reaching your pocket and helping us over the years. It's not just something you done one time or this time. You reached over the years and contributed to what we're doing. We appreciate you."
Thank you, Councilman Sam. Well, we're part of this fight, so I had to get in where I fit in. But this evening I was being nosy. I had a question as far as this the money that Tate Reeves thought was his money because he didn't know how the legislature and the system work. He don't control nothing. But I just want to know, is some of that money going to trickle down to the city?
Well, it is. I feel very confident. Like I said, I can't speak to the exact dollars and cents at this point, but our state legislatures and our state leadership has not shown me a sign that it will be like the BP money. So and as soon as I hear something like that, y'all know I'm pretty open and honest. When I come on this radio, I'm gonna tell you like it is. Yeah, Matt.
No, I was just saying that we also going to talk about some of the things in reference to the conversation with Back to Basics. We're going to be updating everybody the process to be able to utilize the resources that did come down from COVID-19 funding for those business owners to be able to get small business owners back on their feet. Right. So that information is coming too. That's related to the subject. of back to basics. Because one thing about back to basics, we got to be self-sufficient.
Mhm.
That means being able to take care of ourselves with the resources that we have and being able to support each other. So that way that dollar will turn over inside of our community and we can utilize that.
Yeah. One brother made a comment about inside information. We don't have no inside information. You know, we open up the everything that's going on with the city. You call me, you want to know, I'm gonna tell you. I don't hold anything back. I'm gonna tell you exactly what's going on, how it happened, who did what, and if I agreed or disagreed. So when it comes to us, you know, we ain't got one way to throw strikes. That's straight down the pipe. Matt, you gonna go over our announcements again?
Announcement, let everybody know that we are continuing to do voter registration, msmove.org. You can go online, you can voter registration form. Also, we have the 20 for 20 challenge. We're asking 20 people to find 20 graduates from the class of 2020. Make sure they are registered to vote and follow up with them to make sure they actually exercise their right to vote. The brother has a good point about creating an agenda. The agenda, everything that we do is modeled. So I want everybody to remember that and stop using the term you and start using the term we. We are all in this together. So we must continue to fight by making sure that we reach out to someone. It's not enough that you are good, but if you know someone that just graduated, let's make sure they register to vote. Anybody you know that have not completed that census, make sure to go to 2020census.gov. Also, Mississippi Move will continue to get out in the community, provide resources. We just dropped off some stuff to the drop-in center right there on Capitol Street. They provide resources and help the homeless. So we definitely gave them some water, mask, and gloves. Because you know that is a very at-risk population that do not have the resources they need to take care of themselves. So we want to continue to help the best way we know how.
I also want to say thank you to Pastor Vera Bishop. Pastor Bishop and Tim, they have been distributing food with the St. Andrews Society. They've been unloading 218-wheelers every other day, right in Ward 4. We've been dropping stuff off all over the place. And because a lot of folks, especially our senior citizens, shut at home, don't have anybody to make groceries for them. Today, they delivered 218-wheelers full of several types of products. And we appreciate them for doing that and making sure folks have what they need. Because in our back to basic plan, we're talking about food, water, shelter. Because you'd be amazed at how many people don't have those basic things in their life. And so those are the things that we're pushing is focus on things and people provide resources. I also want to thank Mr. Ernest Ward, the president of the Association of South Jackson Neighborhoods, for stepping forward and volunteering like he always does to assist in getting the neighborhood presidents engaged in distributing food to the seniors in their neighborhoods. At first, they were trying to use several other networks of people to distribute food, but this is seeming to be a more effective way to distribute food and food resources throughout the city. And so we want to say thank you to Pastor Vera Bishop right there on Raymond Road, right next to Forest Hill High School, and Association of South Jackson Neighborhoods President, Mr. Ernest Ward, and all the other neighborhood presidents, you know, from throughout the whole ward. We appreciate you for your efforts.
So we definitely want to continue to remind everybody about continue to practice social distancing, 6 feet apart when you're out in public. Make sure you wear your mask. Make sure you have the proper tools you need to sanitize your areas. Anything you bring back in your house. Create a good practice when you re-enter your home. It doesn't do any good to go outside with your mask on and you've been around people all day and you go back and sit on your furniture, everything in your house. Create a good practice, whether you are disrobing right there in your laundry room area or you're spraying yourself down. But create a good practice to make sure that we can really flatten the curve, because our numbers are continuing to rise. And the numbers that are rising are definitely affecting the community that we are talking about coming together and getting back to basics where we were taking care of each other, regardless if it was with information or direct resources. We got to get back to basics. And I think this COVID-19, especially with us being sheltered in place for that time period, really help us reflect back on basic stuff that you took for granted that you couldn't do, basic social things that you've done every day or every week that you can't do. So basic things that really meant a lot to people in their day-to-day process, but also they provided the good emotional health, as we talk about with grief, depression, and dealing with anxiety now at an all-time high due to the COVID-19. So we're asking everybody to continue to make sure that if you're not doing it, that you start doing it. If you don't have a mask, make sure you find out where you can get a mask. And if you're not going to wear it, make sure you distance yourself and take care of yourself, and don't do anything that you can involve somebody else in contracting the COVID-19. So we definitely want to make sure we have good, safe practice. Yes, Council.
Somebody just missed comment and asked about those distribution sites again.
Okay.
On Thursday, June the 4th, 2020 at 10 a.m. at Westside Community Center, 1444 Wiggins Road, Jackson, Mississippi. Also on Thursday, June the 4th at the Old Fred's parking lot at 6400 Old Kent Road, Jackson, Mississippi, 39211. On Friday, June the 5th at 10 a.m., Champion Gym, 1355 Hattiesburg Street, Jackson, Mississippi. Also on Friday at 4 p.m. at the Virgin P. Middleton Community Center at 3971 Flag Chapel Road. On Saturday, June 6, 10 a.m., Pete Brown Golf Course at 3200 Woodrow Wilson Drive. And on Saturday, June 6th at 2 p.m., the Mitchell Center parking lot, 1000 Mitchell Center Drive. Hello, caller. Welcome to the show. What's your question or comment?
What's going on, Chief? How you doing, man?
I'm doing well, brother. How you doing?
Good, man. I ain't saying nothing anyway. Hey, you heard anything, man? You say you're going to look into it.
Yeah, we reached out. First off, just for listening to the audience, this is a brother. He's in one of our correctional facilities, and we appreciate you for calling in and all the folks that are always engaged in what's going on. We reached out to Senator Warren Barnett, who is the chairman of the Corrections Committee for the Mississippi State Senate, and they're working through that issue to get that piece of legislation passed. He's one of the authors of that piece of legislation. So as soon as we know when there'll be a signing and that kind of thing, when it passes the Senate, and then when it goes through the rest of the process to become law, we will be informing you at that time.
Okay. I appreciate it, man. Concerned about that one bill, man. 21.3.
That's right.
That's government sign that bill, man. That's government sign that bill. There'll be a lot of people did not, they'll solve their problem, man.
Mm-hmm. Well, we appreciate you, sir.
Solve their problem. And man, I appreciate you, man. May God bless you and your family, my brother.
God bless you too, and you and your family as well. Yeah. And we'll have some big announcements coming about returning services for people once they leave the correctional facility, and trying to make sure that they don't recidivize themselves. So next week we'll have an announcement about that. We tried to get an announcement this week, but we weren't able to connect the dots on it and get it done before 6 o'clock. But next week we'll have a major announcement about some additional services, because when the president signed the First Step Act, that's going to release a lot of people coming from federal prison. If they pass this law in the state government, there'll be a lot of folks come back as well. So the local communities don't have the resources to absorb additional population. So let's pray that those things get passed so we can get some resources to help manage and navigate those things. Hello, caller. Welcome to the show. What's your question or comment?
Good evening. Thank you for taking my call. I was just calling to see the messages that would be distributed, around in the city of Jackson. Do you know if they were American made, or do they come out of China or Thailand? I'm gonna hang up and listen.
Okay. These masks came through the Mississippi Emergency Management Agency through Hinds County into the city. We'll get that answer and broadcast. I don't have the answer right on top of my head here, but we'll get that answer for you, Ms. Chapman. And we appreciate you for calling in and being attuned to what's going on inside the city. So we got about 15 minutes left to go on the show, ladies and gentlemen. As a city, we got to get back to focus on basic things of the city. And the things that we're proposing are revenue generating items that we can expand services to provide better services throughout, especially on the water sewer side. We continue to push against water issues. Keep calling us. Our office number is 601-960-2052. And we handle cases all day, every day. I think water issues are our number one issue. And what we're trying to do is push against people trying to raise our rates or raise our taxes or raise our water and sewer rates. Because some people's philosophy when it comes to water, sewer, and rates is to increase the rates of the people that are paying. And my philosophy is, well, let's get more customers to produce more revenue. And so at this point, I know that especially folks I represent can't afford any more additional rates. We need to look at other means to generate revenue in the city so that we can stabilize all of our institutions to provide better services for people. And I want to harp on, we talk about agendas, and Mac talks about voting a lot. But I talk about money. Make sure you focus on your money. Mm-hmm. I know a lot of times we talk about a lot of social issues and things like that, but the new economy that's going to exist in the future, if you're still doing something in the past economy that's no longer, relevant, you're going to lose revenue. Mm-hmm. So let's make sure you focus on involving yourself in businesses of the future. Focus on where you spend your money. Hello, caller. Turn your radio down, caller. Turn your radio down, caller.
Good evening.
Good evening. How you doing, man?
Okay, I have a question.
Okay.
I live here in West Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
And we have discussed this once before, but I need some help with this right now. Mm-hmm. I had a prowler this morning before days. Wow. And he was in my backyard, on my porch, going through things in my backyard and everything. And when the police came out, they got a chance to check my surveillance camera. And they said he looked like one of the guys that had been released from the mental institution. And we had discussed this at one time, that they would bring the people here and they would drop them off on Capitol Street and they would just go wherever they wanted to go. Mm-hmm. God was with him this morning. Mm-hmm. Because the surveillance camera shows when he came out my backyard, he was limping when he went in, and he came out, he was running. Because, like I said, God was with him because I was fixing to load him up. Mm-hmm. I have never shot anyone before in my life. I've been to the academy and practiced shooting. But my whole thing is, what can be done about these people just taking over your lives? And so this is not going to keep happening around here. Mm-hmm. I need somebody to tell me what to do because, like I said, I don't want to do this, but if this is what it's going to take for me to be safe on my property, I'm going to do it.
Well, first off, man, my heart goes out to you, and when your home is violated, it definitely takes away a lot of your a lot from you. Anytime your property and your home is violated, it's definitely a dire circumstance. I thank the Lord that you are safe. But I do encourage you, guard your property, guard your family, guard your household with everything you got. And you've been trained, and you have practice shooting and things like that. I encourage every law-abiding citizen to stand up for yourself, call the police, anything, and the folks in your neighborhood. We can talk to folks in the neighborhood when you see strange people who are not from there and strange vehicles. Let's call those things in so that we can make sure that we are.
Well, the police did come out. They were the ones to inform me that they had seen him on Jane Avenue, on Capitol Street, and Ellis Avenue. And like I said, my security light came on and it was like nothing. He got a chance to see even better because he had light.
Lord. So
he was just going through stuff, just like he was at home. It didn't faze him at all until he realized that I was serious when I came out with the guns, and he took off.
Well, before you just come out with the gun in the future, let's make sure we call 911 in the same process.
Oh, I did.
Okay.
I called them and informed them that I told them, I said, I am armed. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I said, and he's on my property, going through my things, and I don't know what's going to be next. And she said, well, just try to stay on the phone with me until the officers get to your property. And they did. I stayed on the phone with her. She was very respectful. She was very professional.
Mm-hmm.
But my whole thing is they're dropping these sick-minded people off in our community.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not right. You don't see them dropping them off in Lake Over. You don't see them dropping them off over East Over.
Mm-hmm.
They're dropping them off on Capitol Street. Like this is a dumping ground. And it's not right.
Mm-hmm. You're totally right, ma'am. To address this issue, a few years ago, we passed what's called an indigent protection law, because we identified that even police cars in other cities,
right.
When you see a car here from, Biloxi, a police car here from, we were like, why is that police car here? A lot of times these police officers are dropping folks off. They pick folks up in their neighborhood, in their city, and bring them to Jackson, drop them off. And so, we made it illegal, but it's very hard to police. It's very hard to police outside agencies dropping folks off. I did find that there were some people in Memphis who were loading people and giving them bus tickets to Jackson, one-way bus tickets.
Right.
I heard about that.
To go to Jackson. So, we get a compounded amount of issues because we're not busing people anywhere.
No.
But other municipalities are busing, shipping, and transporting people to Jackson. And you're right, it's wrong. And if you,
it's wrong. And you just mentioned the fact that here they are trying to let people out of prison and stuff. Now, what's going to happen? They're going to be here.
Right. So we got a lot of work to do in a short time to do it, because I'm already I'm not at my breaking point, but I believe the people are at their breaking point in dealing with this influx of people. Because you go through several areas in West and South Jackson, it almost looks like I've never seen so many openly just walking around people who they just wouldn't like that a few years ago. And it has been an influx in this, and so as much as we can work on policing this, we're going to have to.
Well, I just wanted to know, because, like I said, it kind of shocked me when I was awakened with the alarm to let me know that somebody was outside. And once I got to the window and looked, and Brother Man was just enjoying himself. The lights come on, and he said, "Well, this gives me more opportunity to see what I want." And like I said, it threw me for a loop. I was not expecting that. And I was hoping that we could get something done, because the next incident might not be as fortunate as this incident.
We can tell what we can do. We also can ask about picking up police patrol in that area.
Right. We'll do that. And I took your number down, ma'am, and we'll give you a call once you get out there, okay?
Thank you very much.
Yes, ma'am. And ladies and gentlemen, for each and every one of you that are experiencing different issues, let's just make sure that you first call the police. First and foremost, let's catch the next call. Hello, caller. Welcome to the show. What's your question or comment?
Good afternoon, Brother Stamps.
Hey, how you doing?
Question, I'm not going to hold you long, okay?
Okay.
Look, I heard you say about they were passing out food to elder people.
Yes, sir.
And I know a lady that she can drive fairly decent, but her walking is very poor. Do they give out boxes if they come over there and pick them up?
Well, we've been giving them to in the neighborhood. Give our office a call, 601-960-2052. Give us a call. You can give us a call right now, leave a message, and we'll touch base with you and kind of route you to the closest distribution site to your neighborhood or that person's neighborhood.
Okay, okay, thank you, okay.
All right.
All right.
And I know I saw on TV, on the news, that certain areas, certain distribution center, when they would actually just put it in folks' cars for them when they pull.
Right,
up.
right.
So depending on where you go, depending on what the process may be.
Mm-hmm. And so, as always, ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate everybody for tuning in each and every week. Last few minutes, we're going to talk about these protests. Now, there's several groups out here that are designing protests. From our office, we're saying be safe, be mindful of people interjecting themselves in your protest. I was on a call this past weekend with some of my colleagues in different states, more pointedly Nashville. In Nashville, they had a peaceful protest Saturday, and some folks interjected themselves in the protest, walked around the corner and burnt down City Hall.
Mm-hmm.
If you see somebody that is interjecting in the protest, you see somebody who who didn't come out there with the group that you're with.
Mm-hmm.
And these guys had signs that said George Floyd.
Mm-hmm. Taking it with you and traveling.
You know, but they had backpacks with Molotov cocktails in them.
Mm-hmm.
So let's be mindful. I asked the police department on our meeting on Tuesday to be mindful of this because there's some people who don't have the best intentions. You know, we always agree that everybody got the right to protest, but you got left wing, right wing, you got all kinds of groups that's interjecting themselves into good, regular people just trying to protest, trying to voice their concerns and opinions about different things. So be mindful of that. Make sure that if you're having a protest, make sure you have a few people designated as security. Make sure you brothers, if you don't let your sisters go out there and young folks go out there, you know, without that mindset, make sure you're making good decisions when it comes to these protests, because we don't need for Jackson to be burned down. See, we have a fight for disinvestment already. And those areas that were burnt when they burned Baltimore down have never recovered. There's places in Los Angeles right now that still haven't recovered from the 60s. You know, so let's make sure that these outside groups don't do what they've done in Birmingham, what they've done in Atlanta, what they've done in Nashville. This is all around us, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. You can't be naive like, oh, they won't never happen here. That's the same thing Atlanta said. And, you know, so let's make sure that we safeguard ourselves, because see, some people don't want to see you have anything, and they'll burn down the little bit you do have and put you further behind the avenue and opportunity for growth. So especially if you know, make sure you're mindful of that, and so we can move forward. I got a comment here that said, who is the area from Ellis Avenue to Hardy Street to Capitol? That part of Ellis is Harper. All right, so that's Ward 5, but we are definitely working with the mayor and Councilman Tillman to address that issue, ma'am. And we're going to end up some parting words. Matt, we got about 2 minutes left to go on the show. Any parting comments?
As everybody protest, get out, exercise their rights. Make sure that you stay safe. Make sure that you have a mask. Make sure that you practice good distancing as you can during a protest. Make sure you have it structured, organized, knowing, like Councilman Stamp said, that you will have people out there intentionally come to make your event look bad. And they have plans. They've been doing it for years, ever since the 60s, during the Civil Rights Movement. You can talk to folks like Brother Hollis, tell you that they always had people that interject themselves to kick off something. So we definitely ask you to be safe, protect yourself, and continue to support the right to have freedom of speech.
Well, and our parting shots, we guys got a comment from Michael Jordan, Transportation Services. Make sure you go to mjstransportation1.com to apply for those openings they have, schedule your transportation needs. He's a good brother, does good business, been helping folks out all throughout the pandemic. So definitely go check out www.mjstransportation1.com. Also, we're sponsored by MyNoniJuice.com. Go to MyNoniJuice.com to boost your immune system by 30% in 90 days. And right now, during the coronavirus season, when you get the virus, all you got is you and your immune system. You got to have something to fight. And as we end every show, we always say, never let anybody put you in a position where you don't love your own people. Because when you hate your own people, you're part of the very oppression we're trying to lift ourselves out of. I love you, Jackson. Love you, Mississippi Handyman. Take us out of here. Love y'all.